I want to welcome everybody and call to order the meeting of the Lower American River Conservancy Advisory Committee. First thing I'd like to do is to recognize our two new members, a City Council member from Sacramento, Karina Talamontes. Welcome to the LARC meeting, and County Supervisor Patrick Hume, who hopefully will be joining us on Zoom, and welcome Supervisor Hume as well. Also wanted to recognize John Donnelly, who retired since our last meeting. John was the 17 years serving as the Executive Director of Wildlife Conservation Board and oversaw the preservation of some of the most important lands in California, both during his tenureship as Executive Director, as well as his 27 years of service to Wildlife Conservation Board. And California really has an extraordinary program implemented by Wildlife Conservation Board. I'm very pleased that Rebecca Friss is stepping in as Acting Executive Director, and I'll ask Rebecca at this point to call to order and present the roll call.
Thank you, Corey. Okay, so I'll go ahead and go through the roll call. And I note a number of folks are on Zoom. So Phil Cerna.
Here.
Rich Desmond. Alexa, do you see him?
I don't see him yet, but I'll keep an eye out for him.
Thank you. Patrick Hume, Supervisor Patrick Hume.
Here.
Great. And Karina Talamontes, council member.
Here.
And Nicole Cuellar for Mayor Daryl Steinberg. Here. Donald Terry. Okay. Kevin Thomas, representing California Natural Resources Agency.
I'm here.
Sally Lukenbill with Department of Finance.
Here.
Jennifer Lucchese with State Lands. She let us know she wouldn't be here today. Stephen Green.
Here.
Corey Brown.
Here.
And Cassie Gilson. She also let us know she wouldn't be here today. Okay, so we have a quorum.
Recognizing that we have a quorum, we can move to public comments. Rebecca, any cards for public comments? And then we'll ask Alexa if there's anybody on Zoom for public comments.
Yeah, so I don't, the two speaker cards we got, I think are for agenda items later in the day. So I do not have any cards. Do we have any public comments in the room?
Paul, do you want to?
Thank you to the advisory committee. My name is Paul Bays. I represent American River College, the Geographic Information Systems program. And over my 25 years teaching there, 40 plus semesters, 400 students that have come through, I'm here to support the LARCP conservation planning and the 5-year agenda. So thank you. Thank you very much. Oh, I forgot my key phrase. To connect lifelong learning to conservation work on the ground. Can we do that? We will do that.
Excellent.
Thank you.
We greatly respect our institutes of higher education and greatly appreciate the work you're doing to train the next generation. Any other public comments, Alexa?
There are no hands raised.
Okay, we'll next turn to procedural action items. We have one, which is the election of a chair and vice chair for the next year. And I'll turn this back over to Rebecca.
Do you want the pledge?
Oh, I'm so sorry. First, I should call on Councilwoman Talamontes to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Now we'll turn it over to Rebecca for the election of a chair and vice chair.
Fantastic. Okay, so each year we do elect a chair and a vice chair for this year's meetings, and would like to open it to the Technical Advisory Committee for any nominations. First for the chair position.
I would like to nominate Corey Brown.
Wonderful. So we have Corey Brown. Is there another or any other nominations for chair? Anything online, Alexa?
There are no hands raised.
Okay. So would you like me to do both and then we can do one motion?
Either way.
Okay, let's also ask for nominations for vice chair. Do we have any nominations for vice chair or any volunteers?
Sure.
That good? We have Karina.
No one else.
That'd be great.
Great. Okay, anything else online, Alexa? Any hands?
There are no hands raised.
All right, so we have a nomination for both chair and vice chair. I would need a motion from somebody from the advisory committee to elect.
I move for a vote.
Okay. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
So the motion would be for Corey Brown to serve as chair of the Lower American Advisory Committee this year and Karina Talamontes as vice chair for this year. So I will go ahead and do a roll call again. Okay. Supervisor Cerna,
Aye.
Supervisor Desmond. He's not here still. Supervisor Hume,
Aye.
Council Member Talamontes. Nicole Cuellar.
Aye.
Donald Terry. Okay, Kevin Thomas,
Aye.
Sally Lukenbill,
Aye.
and Stephen Green,
Aye.
Corey Brown,
Aye.
and Cassie Gilson, still not here, and Jennifer Lucchese, also not here. Okay, and the motion passes.
Very good. Folks, there are two informational items that are as written documents that there are links in the agenda for. Both projects have been funded to date by WCB with recommendations from the Lower American River Conservancy Advisory Committee and a funding summary. And first I want to ask if anybody has questions on any of the projects listed that we can ask staff to provide additional information on. Anybody present have questions? Anybody online have questions? Alexis?
There are no hands raised.
Okay, very good. And then want to turn it back to Rebecca to talk about funding summary of the funding we have remaining to allocate, that we make recommendations to the Wildlife Conservation Board, and the board itself is the one who actually approves the funding allocations.
Yeah, so that also, so that information also is then the packet, and I think you had a link to that information. And we note that we have about a little under $4 million remaining specifically for this program. Just to highlight that I think the members already knew that we do have an online continuous application process. So at any time, if folks have good projects, they're welcome to put in a pre-application online. We evaluate those and take those to full application if we see that they meet the priorities of the program. So it does sound like there's some applications coming in and are hoping that by the October meeting that we would be considering some projects that would then go forward to the Wildlife Conservation Board.
Excellent. I also wanted to mention that our program can be funded through bond acts as well as budget allocations. We receive funding from Proposition 68, which was approved by voters in 2018. Legislature is currently considering 3 different bond acts that are relevant. SB 867 by Senator Allen, AB 1567 by Assemblymember Garcia. That does have a line item for the Lower American River Conservancy Program, and SB 638 by Senator Eggman that is a flood control related bond act. And those we may be hearing more about if they are moved by their committees over in the Capitol. But just for information purposes, wanted to highlight there may be some ability to bringing some additional resources to the Lower American River. The best part of, I think, today's meeting is hearing the progress that's being made on projects that we've recommended and the Wildlife Conservation Board has funded. We have 4 presenters and 5 topics that are going to be discussed. And first, I want to welcome Kelly Hopkins, who's Executive Director of the Sacramento Valley Conservancy, to talk about some very, very cool projects at Camp Pollock.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here. As Corey had mentioned, my name is Kelly Hopkins. I'm the Executive Director of the Sacramento Valley Conservancy, and I will be presenting on the Camp Pollock site improvement projects today. So next slide. These are some of the project details. We were granted $176,000 through WCB for the Lower American River Conservancy Program. The board approved it on May 22nd of 2019. Next slide, please. Project roles. Sac Valley Conservancy is the long-term manager of Camp Pollock. We have a lease with California State Lands Commission, who is owner of the property through 2048. Next slide, please. These are several of our project partners. These consist of various public agencies, nonprofit and business organizations, as well as in-kind donors. And not listed here are the hundreds of volunteers that made this project happen. So next slide. So parking lot improvements. You can see here the previous conditions are on the left and updated conditions after the project was complete are on the right. So here you see what was an auxiliary parking lot that was historically used by the Scouts. And you can see that the parking lot is not defined. We frequently had visitors drive their vehicles around this short fence into the auxiliary parking lot and then over the grass throughout the rest of the property, which resulted in significant damage to our sprinkler systems. So the parking lot improvement component of this project was primarily focused on spatially defining and increasing the durability of the space, while reducing invasive grasses and maintaining permeability of the surface. Next slide. So we added more than 45,300 square feet of ADA compliant paths and gathering areas. Here you see the trail system project is starts at this kiosk, which is kind of the entryway. These improvements are located adjacent to our ADA parking area and visibly draw the visitor back to explore the area beyond the parking lot and beyond the courtyard. Next slide. So this is an aerial view of the improvements. Previous to the project, we just had a lot of invasive grass and multiple paths of travel. And so the trail system here you'll see is comprised of several loops and paths that take the visitor along the American River under several native trees and to the new native plant sites. The trail improvements make exploring Camp Pollock safer for the 2,000 plus youth visitors who visit with school groups each year and allow for easier loading and unloading for youth overnight camping, and then also draw our day visitors back on durable and defined surfaces. The detail's not here, but Camp Pollock is an 11-acre property. And so the area that you're seeing here really is, it's about a 10-acre space. So you can see the impact there. Next slide, please. So this is side-by-side photos looking back towards the lodge and the parking lot. So this is from the back of the property looking east. Next slide, please. So here you can see the trail system that was installed closest to the American River bank. That's the American River there. And prior to the installation, Eagle Scouts had actually created this path that winds along the river. It was mulched. We called it our river walk, and it did have interpretive signage. However, you can see that the trail was fairly undefined, close to the riverbank. The new trail both creates a safer distance for the riverbank and provides a buffer between visitors in that riparian corridor. Next slide, please. Here you can see paths of travel that go to the back of the property. These are some of the new native planting sites where we replaced invasive grasses and put in native plants. Next slide, please. Yay, it worked. Here you can see the pad that we've added to the very back of the lodge. This space will be used as an outdoor classroom, and is currently being used as an outdoor classroom. We have a group of about 75 students there today, but creates a better gathering space for visitors and then provides a well-defined space to the open grass space. Next slide, please. Here you can see we added little over half of an acre of native garden beds. These are 4 of the 6 new garden beds. Some are defined by cement curbs, and others are left a little bit more natural and have bender board. Next slide, please. So in our garden beds, we planted more than 1,200 plants and over 35 different Native American species. These native plant species are all listed on the American River Parkway approved plant list. And this is, I think, like a quarter of our total plant species that were planted on site. Next slide, please. With the installation of the new native plant beds, we also installed drip irrigation. Next slide, please. We also installed an interpretive sign tour. So 4 of the interpretive panels were designed and installed as part of the WCB grant deliverables. Since then, SVC has secured sponsorships and grants in support of 7 additional signs. The last of those were sponsored, designed, and installed between 2002 and March of 2023. We just installed our last history sign. Next slide, please. This is one of many, specifically focused on our riparian ecosystem. You can see the image there showing our wildlife corridor. That is the Lower American River coming into the confluence of the Sacramento River. And all of these signs feature local species: birds, bees, butterflies, plants, fungus. Next slide, please. We have the plants for pollinators sign. Next slide, please. California Native Garden sign. Next slide, please. Harvesting rainwater. We do have some example water collection barrels off of the main lodge as well, feeding a rain garden. Next slide, please. As part of the project, we also decommissioned several amenities, but 2 large features that we felt were no longer necessary at Camp Pollock. When we did the expansion of the lodge, this existing fire pit really just posed a fire hazard and had not been maintained since before the 2000s. Next slide, please. We also decommissioned this cement pad that the Scouts had installed back in the 1990s, I believe. Next slide, please. So the impact of the project significantly increased the number of volunteers that helped install all of the features. But now that we have these new amenities in place and the new features in place, it has required that SVC grow and expand our stewardship programming, especially those focused on native plant education and the maintenance of these garden beds. We are hosting Camp Pollock service days every 2nd Saturday, and our next one is tomorrow. Next slide, please. Also had a significant impact on education. We had groups of interns come and install several of these plants, and most of those interns came from Grant High School, which is the local high school in North Sacramento, just up the road from Camp Pollock. Next slide, please. So as an adjacent project, we did secure $20,000 through the SMUD Shine Grant. This was just after the WC project was nearing completion, but through SMUD and through the successes of the WCB funded project, we were able to show that we had capacity and volunteers to support the installation of a native plant nursery. We were also very encouraged by our partners at California Native Plant Society to start our own native nursery so that we could source plants for our own future installations. So through this project, we have built a native plant nursery and had several volunteer days. Next slide, please. This is a photo of the nursery. We are in the process of still building a greenhouse, which will be installed this month. Next slide, please. Future projects. So the Sac Valley Conservancy was awarded a $3.5 million grant to help improve public access at Camp Pollock. And as a part of that project, we are working through the design and permitting to put in a river deck and river access. Several murals, as well as improving our water infrastructure and completing the Myrtle Johnston Lodge. Next slide, please. And that's it. Thank you so much.
Any questions for Kelly?
No.
Great, Kelly, thank you for the presentation.
All right.
Visit the access point. It's off North Gate, just north of the. Yeah, it's very exciting things to see.
Yeah. And Camp Pollock is open to the public every day of the week from sunrise to sunset. So if you haven't had a chance to check out these new improvements, I encourage you to either take a lunch break there or hold a staff meeting there.
Councilwoman Talamontes.
Yeah.
Kelly, so my area is District 3. So all of the Northgate corridor, South Natomas, that's the area I represent. And so Camp Pollock, I mean, it's in the county, but in my area, in my head and in my heart, it's in my area. And I look forward to working with you to get more people out there and to continue activating the space. So kudos on all the work that you've done.
Thank you so much.
Very good. And I think the Camp Pollock project and the others we'll hear about great collaborations between cities, the county, which is the overall manager of the parkway, the State Lands Commission, nonprofit organizations, and the public. So great examples of great things that can happen when all these entities are working so positively together. Speaking of the city of Sacramento, I'd like to introduce Adam Randolph with the city of Sacramento to talk about the Blue Diamond acquisition over at Sutter's Landing Park. Adam will be joining us on Zoom. Adam?
Oh, Corey, I have one raised hand online before we move on. It's for Kevin Thomas.
Oh, yes, please.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I just had a question for Kelly. I was wondering if the Conservancy had done any outreach to Native American communities to see if they were interested in partnering on the property as well for signage or interpretive services in any way.
Yeah, so we do currently have a partnership with CAW, which stands for the Cosumnes Waterways and Cosumnes Culture and Waterways Group, as well as several partnerships with local tribes. And we have hosted the Run for the Salmon, I believe is the name of the event, at Camp Pollock for the last 2 years. And I believe they're planning on using the space for that event this year as well. So we do have an existing relationship, and we are working towards working with the local tribes to have a land acknowledgement written specifically for the Camp Pollock area.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you, Alexis. Any other comments or questions online?
There are no additional raised hands.
Thank you. Let's turn it over to Adam Randolph with the city of Sacramento. Adam?
Thank you, everybody. I appreciate you having me here today. Well, virtually anyway. I am here to present on multiple projects actually that the Conservancy has helped us with. The primary one being the purchase of a Blue Diamond parcel out there, but really, I think the goal here is going to be to give you an overall update on where we're sitting with Sutter's Landing Park and all of the different projects we have going. Can I have the next slide, please? So beginning here, we're going to talk about the land acquisition activities, but then we'll also go through kind of what the operations are for our solid waste department out there maintaining the landfill. We're going to talk a bit about Parks Department projects, specifically the trail projects we have coming through there, and then the master planning effort we have going. Next slide. So we did receive conservancy funds specifically to purchase the highlighted parcel here. And if you go next slide for me. So that highlighted parcel, ooh, maybe there's an animation. Can you go forward one more, please? Nope, back one. I'm sorry. So that highlighted parcel is not highlighted on this slide, oddly enough, is the Blue Diamond parcel. We were able to close escrow on that last October. It is now wholly city owned. Looking at the western half of the park, there's kind of 4 large parcels out there. Blue Diamond was one of them. To the west of that is a SMUD owned parcel where they used to have their downtown substation. That has been decommissioned. SMUD's been doing a great job cleaning that parcel up, and that is about to get deeded over to the city as well. And then kind of ongoing efforts, the city is still looking for a way to procure the Deller property, which is that large middle property there, as just taking it on as part of the open space of the park. And then that yellow highlighted property is Bell Marine. I don't think there's an active effort to procure that, but the city is very open should the desire to change ownership be there to take on that property as well. Let's go next slide. So now that we have these parcels, one of the first things that we need to do is kind of wrap up some landfill activities so that we could put them to better use. And can you go next slide for me again, please? So there's a yellow highlighted parcel at the bottom of the screen there. That is the Cannon Scullin property. That parcel is the last remaining uncapped bit of landfill on the in the park area. Start off, I should mention that first bullet saying already closed is referring to the Blue Diamond property has already been closed and capped. Our solid waste folks are currently working through plans, working with county environmental and working with the water board to put together a plan to cap that Cannon Scullin property. And that'll be the last step to get everything capped there so we can figure out the proper use for everything out there. One of the challenges we have in capping that, and I mentioned we're working with the water board on it, is we can't have standing water on top of landfills. So right now, what we're trying to do is figure out how to handle the drainage coming off that property. And it looks like the likely solution for that is going to be to run that through a swale to the north and land in that detention basin that's on the Blue Diamond property, which that detention basin is really taking drainage for the entire western section of the landfill. So we're honestly hoping that there's capacity in there still. Those studies are still being done. Can we have the next slide? So while solid waste is working through their challenges in the west, our Parks Department is kicking off efforts more central in the park. And this is another grant funded project. They are working on can you go next slide for me? They're working on a new concessions building, which that sounds very minor, but it's really a concessions building that's going to be operating some degree of food and drink, but also they're looking at paddle sport rentals, so kayaks, paddle boards, and they're also looking to add offices to that building so that we have both meeting places for city staff or any groups out there, and so that we can operate an annex for our rangers, or our city park rangers out there. Parks Department is underway on that project now. They should have the building complete in 2026. There is a side project that is also going to come out of this. And this is one of those items that the city is actually in the process of applying or putting in a pre-application for a planning grant on here. And that's that we also need to improve the accessibility into Sutter's Landing Beach in order to operate that concession. So Parks Department is working with my department, actually Public Works, to put together some initial numbers for that. And then Public Works will also assist Parks in all of the permitting effort and design effort in putting in that additional access point. Next slide. My specialty is actually the trail projects going on out here. And the city has been working through our Two Rivers Trail, which is our American River Trail on the south bank of the river for, I was just doing the homework on it, and I think we've been working on it for close to 20 years at this point. We had phase one of the trail go in from Tiscornia Park to State Route 160 many years ago. The Parks Department built a portion of the phase 2 trail through Sutter's Landing Park. It starts right across the street from the dog park and runs east to the railroad. We're planning on phase 2 of the trail going from H Street Bridge up to the railroad, going into construction early next year. And now we're working on the preliminary efforts for phase 3 of the trail as well, which is what you see highlighted on the screen there. And phase 3 of the trail is going to tackle the Union Pacific crossings. And it's also going to find a route for that bike trail going from essentially the dog park west. So finding what the ideal route is given the constraints we have to get us to Sac Northern Trail. And actually from there, we're going to look at what we can also do to get any trail users across 160 and be able to tie into phase 1 of the project. Can we go next slide? Oh, should have just talked to the first one. You can go next slide again. And then there's master planning activities. And this is another effort being led by the Parks Department. And this slide has actually become slightly outdated since we sent this, this presentation in. But our Parks Department is working on a master plan for Sutter's Landing Park. Can you go next slide for me? The previous intention was to focus on the east side of the park and leave the west side of the park kind of clear of too many constraints, because there's an awareness that our solid waste folks have efforts that have to happen with the landfill out there, and also that we are looking for as few constraints as possible on the trail project. I think since then there's been a realization that that doesn't need to stop the planning effort. So that plan, as it currently sits, the intention is to have that planning effort cover the entire park and just list out what the constraints are, including that we need to keep options open in certain areas. But the general idea is that we want to solicit public comment. We want to document and record what the limitations are for different areas out here. We want community input on what they would like to see out of this park space. And yeah, all of those efforts are honestly running concurrently. I think I would like to say that I just mentioned 3 different city departments that are working on all of this, and I'm really enjoying, as one of those project managers out here, seeing how all of all of those departments are working closely together and looking for opportunities to be as efficient and get the best project out of this holistically as possible. So we are looking forward to showing you progress as time moves on. Most of these efforts are pretty young in the process, so unfortunately, there's not a lot as far as deliverables go out here yet. But we do expect to see things speed up fairly rapidly here. So in coming meetings, we're going to look forward to providing you more detailed updates. From there, I'd love to field any questions.
Very good. Anybody on the advisory committee have any questions? Anybody in the audience have any questions? Alexis, anybody on? Oh,
Yeah, so we do have one speaker card. Kate Riley, did you want to speak to this item?
I don't see Kate here.
Kate, you should be able to unmute yourself.
Hi, this is Kate. Can I, there's no one else with questions?
Kate, please proceed.
Okay, I just had a question about the schedule for the trail overall, and you kind of basically clarified that you're going to start from the 8th Street Bridge and go towards Paradise Beach. Is that correct?
So for this project, well, for the Conservancy grant, it's really just phase 3 of the project that we're worried about. I think what you're referring to, Kate, is phase 2 of the project, which is the stretch along River Park.
I'll get you to lift right back.
And that would be going from H Street Bridge, yes.
Take your phone, bye. Sorry, I'm sorry, I had to do another phone call. So the question I have, the next question is about the UP situation. Now, my understanding is that UP will not let you build the trail underneath their bridge. Is that correct?
I would have to ask which bridge you're referring to. The Easterly Bridge, I believe, is the one that has been the biggest question mark, since we haven't really approached them that closely with the Westerly Bridge. We do have a path forward with Union Pacific. They are actually rebuilding their wooden trestle bridge. They do not want to allow a formal crossing under their property until that is rebuilt. But they have indicated when that is rebuilt, they are going to permit that crossing under there.
So that's the crossing for for phase 2, right? Is there only one place where the trail goes under UP?
No, there's a second crossing to the west, or on the west side of the park, which is part of the phase 3 trail. And we haven't approached UP about that crossing since we've received this grant funding. So we really need to get our consultants on board and get that communication going with UP till we can speak well to that.
Any other questions or comments regarding Adam's presentation? I should point out that the Sutter's Landing Park is a set of projects for the city of Sacramento, and that on the water side of the levee, it's the American River Parkway. And it's been wonderful to see the cooperation and the communication between our county parks director, Liz Bellis, and the city staff in integrating these two major projects together for the public benefit. I think when the public comes out to Sutter's Landing Park, they don't distinguish what's county, what's city, and that cooperation and the improvements happening are very exciting. So Adam, thank you for your presentation and your work on these projects. I think we're going to move upstream to talk about the Lower Cordova Creek restoration planning. And from the Water Forum, I want to introduce Erica Bishop. Erica?
Hello. Hi, thank you. Excited to talk about Cordova Creek. So we can move on to the next slide. So really quickly, since this project has been ongoing for several years, I'd just like to reorient folks to a little bit of Cordova Creek 101. For those of you who aren't familiar with this specific area, Cordova Creek is located immediately adjacent to Soil-Borne Farms in the Riverbend Park area of the Parkway. And previously, this creek that you see here on the image was just a straight concrete drainage that came out of the neighborhood and went into the river. It moved storm drainage out when we had rain events, and also the Aerojet treated groundwater from their upstream operations a few miles upstream also outlets and comes out through this creek. So previously in 2016 and 2017, Water Forum was involved with many partners, including regional parks, Soil-Borne Farms, and others, to naturalize the upstream portion of the creek, which is the area on the image that you see that it has a nice meandering shape, and you see riparian vegetation growing there. And that was the longest portion of the creek, but that was the only part that could be handled during phase 1. So the most recent funding agreement with WCB, we were able to look at the next phase of the creek that wasn't possible during phase 1. And that is this phase 2 portion, which is hard to see, but it is the shortest little piece of the creek that is just downstream of where the bike trail crosses there. And it is the shortest part. It's only about 400 feet, but it is the most complicated to look at for design and durability, since it's right next to the river and we do have the trail crossing. So as part of this funding agreement, this is, the Water Forum, many of you know, does a lot of fish habitat work on the river. And this is exciting. This is one of our multi-benefit projects. And we were looking to improve the recreational safety and access in this area. This existing trail crossing over Cordova Creek has a quite narrow bridge, and there are some line of sight issues with the bike trail. Since Soil-Borne Farms and many schools are nearby, there are tremendous opportunities for education and interpretive activities along the creek and also on this bridge. This is an area where people stop to view the creek and the wildlife, and having it be so narrow is a safety hazard. So that's included in this project. We are also looking at a better connection for our fish and other species to the Lower American River itself, a more durable connection that isn't right on an outside bend there, which causes some issues with flood impacts. We do see that there are tremendous potential for juvenile salmonids in the Cordova Creek, and also for many other species, including reptiles and amphibians and our beavers that we love. But that habitat is not as functional as it could be due to the way the creek currently connects to the river, which I'll talk a little bit more about. And since this project was funding phase 2 through our stakeholder engagement process and through 65% design. So this has not yet been constructed. I'll talk a little bit more about Water Forum's plans for the future on this project after I take you through what our stakeholders experienced as far as process on Cordova Creek phase 2. Next slide. So the connection of the creek to the river is easier to see here in this photo. You see the upstream piece, there are willows, the vegetation there placed during phase 1 has really taken off. And it's just a lovely corridor. It's full of birds. The beavers are there. It's beautiful. But the downstream portion is still concrete. And the end of that downstream portion, it actually has a several foot drop to the river, so it isn't passable by any fish. We did receive funding. $248,000 of grant funding came from WCB, and Water Forum cost shared another portion of the project. We kicked this off. This entire project happened, we were very heavily during our COVID social distancing time period. So making sure that we found creative ways to keep stakeholders involved was very important. And we didn't want to just come in with a design and assume too much. So we had our stakeholder group heavily involved throughout the process. The stakeholder group involved over 30 various local entities and agencies, such as California Department of Fish and Wildlife, National Marine Fisheries Service, County of Sacramento, regional park staff, Native Plant Society. We reached out to local stakeholder recreational groups, equine users on the parkway, bikers, Soil-Borne Farms, you name it. We had a really great and engaged stakeholder group involved. So we brought everyone together to understand what their vision might be for this downstream portion of Cordova Creek, and worked toward through discussion all over Zoom through some to get to some preferred alternatives. Next slide. Apologies, I have a little bit of a cough. And there were really two options that came out for the lower portion of Cordova Creek. You can see here on the upper photo, this straight channel. You could try and naturalize that existing creek alignment. And we looked at that, and it wasn't necessarily going to provide the multiple benefits that a different alternative might have provided for the creek. So we did move to, with the stakeholder group, to the second alternative, which you see here, this squiggly line on the aerial photo. This provides a better opportunity for more bank and bed enhancement along the creek. By making the creek a little bit longer than it currently is, it provides a more durable design and makes it easier to maintain, because when we have flood events, when the Lower American River is flooding, it actually backwaters into this whole area. So when we're looking at how we might provide a durable design that's going to last a long time, it's not only what happens on Cordova Creek, but really what's happening in the corridor. We wanted to make sure that we provided for juvenile fish passage, and also that this area would be accessible for any species at low flows, like what we saw in 2021. We saw the river get very, very low. The current outlet of the creek dewaters sometimes during those drought flows, and we want to make sure that that isn't happening, that we are not outletting the new creek into an area that isn't going to serve the various species very well. And as part of this process, stepping out of the creek, we were be able to improve our recreational access and the safety along this alignment, because that existing bridge would be more than twice as wide as it is currently. And we would realign the trail so that there were no line of sight issues anymore. Next slide. So once we had some alternatives and concepts that we worked through with our stakeholder group, we could really kick into gear with our design team and our field staff. We were able to get out, take care of geotechnical sampling, get tribes involved to make sure that we were being careful with our subsurface work, getting out to do tree and other vegetation surveys, and understanding, having fisheries biologists out in the field to have a good idea about what the temperatures are like in Cordova Creek, and really have just good baseline information to work from, so that we can get to a 30% design and take that back to the stakeholders and understand, so that we could bring them a design that would be feasible and likely constructible, and then gather their thoughts again. Next slide. So once we move from alternative to a concept really into an actual constructible design, we found that that yes, we would be able to support our multi-benefits of improving our recreational access. We came up with a design that would avoid elderberries and many of the mature trees that are on the site. We would have that accessibility and connection of this creek to the river, even at the lowest flows. And we would be able to flatten the slope of the creek to provide a durable design that would be passable by fish and other species. We did have some concerns though, because that 30% design meant that we might have some impacts to some of the mature riparian trees that were downstream of the existing alignment. Although it is concrete, at the end of the creek where the concrete has all broken and washed away many years ago, there are a lot of large mature trees there. Next slide. So we were able to, once some of the social distancing regulations were raised, we were able to get out in the field and talk with some of our stakeholders on the ground and understand some of the concerns with that 30% design and how we might improve that for our final portion. And what we came up with was we actually did quite a bit more analysis and field work to understand exactly what the conditions might be once this creek was constructed. So we were able to get on board with our various fisheries agencies, and our parkway stakeholders were really helpful in this part of the process, because we got out in the field and were able to look at the existing alignment and actually modify the design in a way that we thought might not have been feasible in the past had we only, not been down in the channel and talking with them. So what we ended up with is on our In our 65% design, you see that straight line that used to go straight into the creek is now an alcove. So we're able to create a durable design and a constructible design for Cordova Creek that is going to preserve that lovely riparian vegetation that exists right now. There's a nice alcove. It's like a grotto down there. It's really, really lovely if you haven't walked down there. And we'll be able to preserve that in this in the final design. We were also able to get through a native plant revegetation plan that serves our wetland and the wetter portions of the creek, and actually moves our provides pollinator and culturally significant species from the bed all the way up into the riparian area into the upland area of the Cordova Creek alignment. And you'll see here on the graphic that you see that bridge, that new bridge coming in, and that realigned trail. Next slide. And this is not to scale, but this would give you an idea of what the creek might look like if you were standing at the bottom of it and looking upstream after several years post-project, once we're able to get to the construction phase. And that you would see an improvement to what is existing on site in this area, where we have a lot of mature large trees, but not much going on in the understory and the mid-story. So the proposed planting plan would provide a more natural and diverse assemblage of our native plants in the entire area and in the surrounding acreage. Next slide. And we do have, as always, some project trade-offs and benefits. You always have impacts when you go to construction, and it was good to have an idea of those before we move into our next phase. We would have some impacts during construction just from equipment moving in and some native tree removal, but we would double the riparian oak woodland habitat that would be in the project area post-project. We would have a tremendous number of native plants or native trees planted, and we would have that connectivity to the Lower American River. And our Parkway stakeholders were very excited about the multi-use trail and bridge improvements. And, you know, our goal with this project was to really have a stakeholder-driven process that was going to give us a durable design and serve the multi-benefits of this area. Go next slide. And a little bit more here on process. So now that we got to our 65% design and got through an initial stakeholder engagement process under this funding agreement, we did upload all of the data that was collected to CDEN, and so it's available for the broader scientific community to use. We did close out our grant. Water Forum is working on an overall massive website update. So we're updating our project page, and we're excited. We're looking, actually, as many of you other public agencies are, we're finalizing our budget process for next year and looking ahead to the next 2 fiscal years about how we can fit in the environmental documentation for Cordova Creek so that we would have that completed and be able to come back to funding agencies such as WCB and others to move into final design, final permitting and construction. And we hope to get through that process while continuing our stakeholder engagement and hopefully construct within, I would say within the next 4 to 5 years is our goal. So, questions? I know that was a lot of information.
Yeah, thank you for all your work on Cordova Creek. I'm Roland Brady. I'm a geologist. I do have a question on the gradient of the new channel compared to the gradient of the upstream channel. How do those compare? And what keeps the high flows from jumping back into the old channel on the downstream side?
That's a very good question. So the gradient from the old channel to the Lower American River is about 15 feet. So 15 feet over 400 feet is fairly steep. And that meant that we needed several iterations on our hydraulic modeling, and we needed very good information to inform our design so that we would have a stable and durable channel. What we ended up with is to manage that gradient. That's part of why the length of the creek is extended. And the size of the substrate used in the step pool assemblage that would be used for construction would meet the need for our, that would help manage that gradient. And so that our project wouldn't, to blow out is what we don't want to have happen. So really the size of the substrate and the way that it is constructed is what will drive that to help manage that grade. And also the armoring that would occur on the area, a portion of the old channel would be filled, and then there would be some armoring that ties into the existing bank stabilization material that's along the Lower American River right there. And actually this area that you see here is that pour over where the creek doesn't always connect. And so this area would be maintained, and the area behind this, actually behind this photo, would be filled in. Let's see. Also, the water forum does other work on the rivers. So we do have a very good, we have very good LiDAR and a 2D model of the entire Lower American. So we have a good nexus on design work that's happening with other projects, one of which is immediately just adjacent to this one on the other side of the river, so that we're able to make sure that our hydraulics are going to work and make sense when we go to construct River Creek.
Very
You're
good.
welcome. And feel free to reach out if you have, we could go totally in the weeds on design, and I'm happy to answer any further questions, sir. If you want to reach out via email, we can absolutely talk.
Any other questions for folks in attendance? Alexis, anybody online with questions?
There are no raised hands.
Very good. Our next 4 items, I want to welcome up Regional Parks Director Liz Bellis, who's doing a tremendous job for the Parkway and for all these projects. She will talk about a very exciting natural resources management plan that the county supervisors unanimously adopted recently, the 5-year work plan, and then talk about progress in the American River Ranch parking lot. And then that'll take us into informational items for the Sacramento County Department of Regional Parks update. So Liz will introduce you once and let you cover all 4.
Thank you very much. Liz Bellis, Director of Regional Parks. And for those of you who are in the audience, here's my happy dance. That we have this natural resource management plan done. Those of you that didn't join us online, sorry you missed out. So next slide, please. So the work first started with our natural resource management plan and the concept when we were last finalizing the American River Parkway plan in 2008. It came out of a workshop with Save the American River Association in 2007, and we took it up from there. The original natural resource management plan stakeholder committee worked with regional parks from 2008 to 2010. And with the formation and subsequent funding of the Lower American River Conservancy, we were able to secure grant fundings to actually initiate the natural resources management plan, as you see there in 2019, where we got started. And all the way through here to 2023, where we finally got it approved. The natural resource management plan represents a coordinated and cooperative effort that incorporated feedback from local stakeholders and agencies with jurisdiction within the Parkway. This included multiple meetings with technical advisory committees, known as the Natural Resource Management Plan Task Force, and multiple public outreach workshops. Next slide, please. The Natural Resource Management Plan was developed to be aligned with the goals and policies of the 2008 American River Parkway Plan, including the following goals. Management of the Parkway shall ensure the protection of the Parkway's resources, its environmental quality, and natural values. A resource impact monitoring plan shall be developed that clearly defines criteria and standards to monitor, evaluate, and protect the Parkway's resources from overuse and provide steps to be taken to restore areas that have been overused. And 3.5, agencies managing the Parkway should develop and implement an integrated vegetation and wildlife management plan to accommodate native wildlife species and minimize adverse effects of non-native species. So as you can see, the Natural Resource Management Plan has 22 goals and 45 objectives across 5 goal areas. It's biological, physical, and cultural resources, human use impact reduction, and agency and community coordination. We have about 65 specific potential projects identified and general actions that would take place across the entire parkway. Next slide. So our natural resource management plan has identified key threats. These are, of course, wildfire and invasive plants, social trails, and the impacts related to encampments on the parkway. Next slide. We do have some data gaps. And that is one of the things that we'll be talking to you guys about a little bit here in the future. But once we are able to remap the parkway and survey it, we can quantify the amount and areas of our conservation category of lands. And so as you see there are 3 different management categories. There's conservation, which is what we want to keep going. Restoration, which is what we obviously want to restore, and naturalize, which is a little bit different than restoration. It's just kind of a more passive naturalization. But we need these mapping and surveys to be able to determine the quality of the vegetation communities, really figure out where all of our social trails are, also identify some specific areas where encampments have done a lot of damage to the parkway, and burned areas from wildfires. Next slide. The mapping and the surveys will be able to help us prioritize the areas for the restoration and naturalization. It'll help us to prioritize areas for rehabilitation, and it will inform our plan preparation for our wildlife connectivity and barrier removal plan and our wildfire prevention, response, and recovery plan. Next slide. So key challenges. Implementing 22 goals and 45 objectives. The estimated cost for that over a 5-year period will be about $18 million. We are pursuing some additional staffing support through our budgetary process, an associate planner and a natural resource specialist. We have put together a prioritization of projects, a 5-year work plan, which was a subsequent attachment to your agenda. It identifies about $16 million in potential grant opportunities. It also identifies projects in process. And of course, we have that $2 million delta, which I will be trying my best to figure out how we'll get that funded as well. Next slide. Here are some of the projects that we have in progress. We have the Wood Lake Crossing, which is the naturalization plan for the stormwater channel in between the Wood Lake and the Cal Expo area plans. This is specific action number 6, goal 1.4 to naturalize habitats. Once we are able to complete this crossing, and Wildlife Conservation Board has funded the planning grant for this, we'll be able to reconnect the off-paved trail program in Cal Expo and Wood Lake to make it a more connected program, which is what it originally was going to be until we had a washout of right by that storm channel in 2017. Next slide. Bushy Lake Cal Expo Restoration Plan. And that is a project that is being undertaken by Dr. Michelle Stevens in the CSUS Research and Habitat Development area. So that is the specific action number 5. Again, the planning effort has been funded from the Wildlife Conservation Board. Next slide. Fire Safe Council collaboration. So the American River Parkway Foundation is working, they have created a Fire Safe Council for the American River Parkway. They are working on a community wildfire plan. The County of Sacramento has wildfire planning efforts that we started in 2014 and 2015. So this would provide some updates to those plans and supplement the work that we're already doing to reduce wildfire. Our Board of Supervisors has been very supportive and has granted us funding so that we can do year-round grazing on the parkway, which has really made a difference. Next is also habitat mitigation projects, about 130 acres. And those are projects that'll be undertaken by the Army Corps of Engineers, PG&E, and the City of Sacramento. That helps us to meet goals 1.3 to 1.5 of restoration, naturalization, and rehabilitation. Next slide. We have a natural resource management plan, annual monitoring and reporting. So we have established a technical advisory committee, which is goal 5.1. And that will help us oversee this plan and provide annual updates to this plan so we can have management that is ongoing and adjust as needed. The members of this are there are 9 members. SAFCA, Wildlife Conservation Board, U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, regional park staff, 3 parkway stakeholders, and 2 members from the American River Advisory Committee. Next slide. So our projects in progress, what we are doing right now. We have a tracking system for encampments. We are taking inventory of damaged facilities from wildfire, a wildfire tracking system, although that can be much improved upon and would require the coordination of several different agencies, our agency, Sac Metro Fire, and Sac City Fire. Collegiate partnerships are underway, but we're looking to expand those as well. E. coli monitoring is ongoing, and we have interpretive elements throughout the parkway. Next slide. And these are some projects that we would like to initiate. Again, the expansion of community science, really tackling our resource data gaps and identifying our research needs, building upon our educational partnerships, and putting together utility corridor management agreements so that we can do some restoration underneath the utility corridors. So grant funding that is needed. Mapping and surveys. Estimated cost is about $750,000. Next slide. Wildfire rehabilitation and wildfire connectivity and wildlife connectivity plans. Estimated cost $200,000. Restoration, naturalization of about 3 acres of grassland and 6 acres of woodland. Estimated cost would be $465,000. And that's what we're trying to tackle in this upcoming fiscal year, 23-24. Looking forward to 24-25. We would need utility corridor habitat enhancement monies. Estimated cost $875,000. Next slide. Additional restoration of riparian, implementation of our wildfire plan, reducing and removing wildlife barriers. Estimated cost, this is a big whopping $13 million. This is the big one. This is really tackling all of the damage that we've had from the wildfires. And then looking forward into the future, 25-26, a light pollution baseline survey and plan, naturalizing more acreage for riparian. And we're not going to put together estimates on that because that's way too out in the future. We'll have better dollar amounts later. Next slide. So our next steps. We will be in April coming to you guys with the pre-application process to look at mapping for vegetation communities, habitat, degraded habitat, and help us to identify and quantify high quality habitat. And we're hopeful that we will be successful in that endeavor, and we'll be coming forward to you guys in October for a recommendation. Next slide. Finally, I cannot thank you guys enough for the funding and support that you provided to us through these years so that we could get to this point of getting to our natural resource management plan being approved. Thank you so very much.
Any questions for the director with respect to the natural resources management plan or the 5-year implementation plan? Anybody in the audience have questions? Anybody online? Alexis?
There are no raised hands.
I do have a couple of questions. The 2 biggest projects in terms of acreage are the Army Corps of Engineer projects.
Correct.
2 questions I have is there a local cost share requirement for the Corps projects? And second, are we seeing any progress by the Corps getting those projects ready and moving forward with them? Because those would be extraordinary if we can get the federal government to pay for those.
Yes.
And to move forward on those.
So to answer your question, yes, there is some progress moving forward with some of those, the mitigation that is required from the work that they're doing along the bank improvements. That is part of the restoration. That, of course, is moving forward. And there is a local cost share, but that lies with SAFCA, Sacramento Area Flood Control Agency. And so that will be moving forward. And then I've heard that the project in the works for the big restoration project for the Army Corps of Engineers. This is pure restoration, not any mitigation. That is on the books. It's been on the books for several years now, and we are still talking to them about that and hope that we can get that going in the next 5 years.
Very good. And those 2 big projects are in the Wood Lake and Cal Expo area.
Correct.
The mitigation project is downstream of Highway 160.
Right. In portion, yes. And there's also some other areas.
Places as well.
Yeah.
Of course. Thank you. Next, you want to talk about the American River Ranch projects?
Yes, please. Next slide. We can go, yes. So how do you make a parking lot exciting? Well, we'll try. So the purpose and the need for this parking lot was to improve access for interpretive opportunities at the American River Ranch that is operated by Soilborn Farms under a lease agreement with the County of Sacramento. It's an organic urban agricultural program. It has natural ecosystems and of course really addresses health in the community through a lot of different programs. They have farming days and they also have an actual farm that you can go and visit during the summertime. It's fantastic. You should check it out. Next slide. So this is an overview picture of showing where people were parking before and trying to get to the site. And this is from the 2007 opening. Next slide. And this is what it looks like without a bunch of cars on it, but you can see that it's just a field area. So this is in 2020 through 2021, we did design and permitting on this project. Next slide. And here are some project features that are kind of exciting. So we have bioswales within this parking lot, and that helps us to address stormwater runoff. Next slide. The infiltration and flow from the parking lot and the fields into this area so that we are capturing water, groundwater. Next slide. We have planter islands with native plants and native trees so we can have shade along our parking lot. Next slide. We did have to install some deer fence so they wouldn't nibble up all our plants. Next slide. We have accessible parking now for folks that are visiting the farm. Next slide. How cool is that? So this is the construction that we have, and you can see the overall parking areas and the accessible sites, which are right adjacent to the farm stand and the kitchen. Next slide. So paving the way to support existing and expanded school programs, additional community engagement, upcoming ranch improvements, including a barn remodel, a kitchen remodel and expansion, and an oak woodland and foraging interpretation program. Some of these programs are again funded from the Wildlife Conservation Board. Next slide. Thank you again for this. This is the sign that we have out there acknowledging all of your support and all of the project partners. Any questions?
Any questions of advisory committee members? Any questions from folks in the audience? Alexis, any questions or comments from folks online?
There are no raised hands.
Very good. I think we'll move now into information items, oral reports, and Liz for the updates.
Certainly. So as you can imagine, these storms have done quite a number on our park system. We are almost all open except for Discovery Park. Discovery Park is still closed to the public. There's a lot of work that needs to be done in that park area to clean it, to make it safe for the public, and also just rehab some of the storm damage. So for the first couple of months, I do have our update on how many tons of trash and debris we've pulled out of the parkway from encampments. For January and February, it was 334 tons. And that work was actually hampered from the storm. So you can only imagine what it would have been had we not had all that rain. And I don't have the full numbers for March yet, but I can tell you in the Bannon Island area alone, we pulled out 100 tons, over 100 tons of trash and debris. And we tried to get that before the March storms hit. But we weren't able to get everything, but we did our best to get as much as we could. Bannon Island and Bannon Slough area is kind of like this last stop filter, if you will, before everything goes out into the Sacramento River. So everything washes downstream and hits into that area. We are continuing to work on addressing encampments and addressing the impacts that we have. We did close Bannon Island in January due to public safety. We are keeping that closed so that we can restore that area. We've put up some signage along Bannon Island, signage along the Two Rivers Trail on the south side by Tiscornia Beach. We will be putting signage up around Steelhead Creek area. And these are, and Camp Pollock. So these are all areas that we are trying to address the environmental degradation that is occurring in this floodplain. And then unfortunately, in the next few months, we will probably be moving towards worrying about wildfires and how that is going to impact our parks. So we'll go from one extreme to the next. That's Sacramento for you. I do have an update for you. So in case any of you were intending to go to the Soul Bloom concert at the end of April, that has been postponed until August. We are working closely with that concert promoter. Obviously, the park is not available for that type of experience. So that is just hot off the presses today. But we do have several events still scheduled for the year at our different park locations. I invite you to come out for June 10th, which will be Family Health and Fitness Day. And we'll have several different things going on along the American River Parkway with our different partners. And that's our next big park-wide celebration. With that, I don't have any other updates for you, but if there are any questions from the audience, I'm happy to address.
Great updates. Thank you. Any questions or comments from advisory committee members? Anybody in attendance have any questions or comments? Alexis, anybody online?
There are no raised hands.
Very good. Liz,
you.
thank you very, very much.
Thank you.
Very, very good updates. We'll next go to committee member updates. Roland? Not a committee member update, but an audience participant update.
Yeah, on the
comment.
Parkway. I would like to make a little plug for the River City Waterway Alliance. 2.5 weeks ago, we passed the 1 million pound mark removed from debris taken out of the parkway along the American River and Steelhead Creek. So 1 million pounds since the 15th of January so far.
This is a group of volunteers
They're
that
all volunteers.
cleans up along the parkway and along Steelhead Creek.
Right.
And we everybody who uses the parkway greatly appreciates your work on that. Time for committee member updates. Anybody have any updates, committee members? I did want to mention that through Assemblyman Kevin McCarty's leadership, the county received in the current year budget $25 million to provide housing and services for those folks that are unhoused that have been camping in the parkway. And so the county has tools to not only restore the resources, especially with the very important natural resources management plan, but also some additional resources thanks to Assemblyman McCarty and the county's work to address the unhoused issues. So working on both the humanitarian as well as the parkway, the natural and cultural protection of the parkway. So a lot of progress is we're seeing being made. Next, I want to turn it to Kara to talk about the November, December tour that we're all going to have later this year. We've toured several parts of the parkway. Kara and WCB staff have done an excellent job further informing us about the resources. I'm very excited to hear about the November, December tour.
Yes, so we just wanted to make everyone aware that we are planning to host another tour this year for the end of the year for November, December. The date is still to be determined, but it is going to focus on the upper reach of the parkway, including the lower and upper Sunrise area and Sailor Bar. It will feature a tour of the Nimbus Fish Hatchery. And so that we can have an exciting tour and really show sort of the operations of the fish hatchery. We are trying to coordinate it on a Tuesday or Thursday when CDFW does their spawning operations and taking eggs from female salmon. So that's why I'm looking at either Thursday, November 30th or Thursday, December 7th as the tour date. We will send out a doodle poll to get everybody's availability and pick the best date that works for the most of the committee members. The tour will be open to the public as usual. And there's still some other details that need to be figured out, but as we've done in the past, folks will be responsible for their own transportation, but parking will be coordinated with the county and hopefully be free for everybody that's joining the tour. And then I'm hoping to coordinate with the Water Forum and regional parks in highlighting some other sites in the upper reach to showcase and to introduce folks to just the public resources that we have in the parkway, as well as some future opportunities for projects.
Excellent. Any questions for Kara about the tour this coming up this fall? Highly encourage folks to participate in it. It's wonderful learning more about these the resources along the parkway and the areas where this program can help further restore and enhance parkway. Folks go up to the fish hatchery. There's also some very creative children's interpretation and playthings up there, like kids can crawl into the middle of a big salmon. They can go inside the building. There's lots of educational efforts inside the building, as well as you can see some of the project potentials and where our salmon actually come from. So very helpful. Thank you for organizing it. Anybody have any questions about the tour? Anybody online have any questions? Alexis?
There are no raised hands.
Okay, very good.
And I just wanted to make
yes,
one more
please.
comment that if any of the committee members have ideas for places to include in the tour, please just shoot me an email and we'll try to include them. And I did want to mention that all of the completed projects that were presented today were part of our previous tours. And so that's really exciting that folks were able to see them before the projects or during the projects. So hopefully we can include some more of those sites in this future tour.
Excellent. And I think what's exciting to see is with the advent of this program, so many more things are happening along the parkway. The county now has more resources to work with, thanks to WCB, thanks to Assemblyman McCarty, and thanks to the advisory committee's participation. So we want to thank Kara, Rebecca, and all of the WCB staff that work on these projects, as well as the county and all the nonprofit groups that are designing and implementing these projects.
Yeah, thank you, Corey.
Great, thank you. Next, want to turn it back to Rebecca, talk about our next regular advisory committee meeting.
Thanks, Corey. Yeah, and actually before that, there is one other event that we've been made aware of on April 29th. There's a Bushy Lake Community Celebration. So if anybody is interested in that, that's happening out at Bushy Lake. That's one of the projects you heard about today. So with that, we have our next advisory committee meeting October 12th. That'll be at 10 a.m. and that will be again here in this auditorium. And just wanted to thank Corey for accepting chairmanship for another year, and Karina for vice chairmanship. So that will be wonderful to have you guys lead us in October.
Very good. And on the Bushy Lake, that a lot of that, the rest areas that Dr. Stevens and her students have been working on restoring. There was a big fire there a couple of years ago. Some of the native plants have been growing back. There's probably a need for more restoration. It's a key area for native turtles, and one can learn a lot and about impacts of fire, how to restore areas, how to plan for protecting listed species. Dr. Stevens is a wealth of information. And that should be a very, very good event on April 29th. Okay, any other announcements, items of interest, comments? Hearing and seeing none, want to ask for any future agenda items people would like to see at the next meeting. Hearing and seeing none, I think it's time for a motion to adjourn. Moved by Council Member Talamontes. Second by Mr. Green. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Through abstention, we are now adjourned. Thanks everybody for being here, and look forward to seeing everybody in October for our next meeting, as well as sometime in November or December, one of those days, and for the tour that Kara and her team are putting together.